Welcome to the Prophecy Club. My question today is this the internal revolution starting that Dumitru was told on the night of August the 3rd of 1984? So let's get started. First, from Michael Snyder, good friend of mine. I think he has an insight into what's going on. He says a secretive movement known as #AltGov is openly rebelling against Trump and Musk from inside our federal agencies. Now, I thought that this was a really good article, and frankly, I took most of the text from it. Thank you, Michael. I think he points out something really important. So, in case you're new to Prophecy Club, let me jump to this. This was the actual words spoken to Dumitru, again, August 3rd, 1984. The angel came to him and said, "Get beside me." He took and showed him all of California and Las Vegas and New York and Florida. He said, "You see what I've shown you? This is Sodom and Gomorrah. In one day, it will burn." He said, "How will it burn? America is so powerful." He said, "The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with their internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and two of the countries will attack and defeat America in 1 hour." Now, there's more, but that's my point today. But this is how I change it, and then we're going to go back to the article. This is my version. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, overthrowing the Trump administration started by the communists. Some of the evil people, Democrats, illegal aliens, drug pushers, insane, criminals that Biden let in, will start fighting against the government. Did you catch that? Okay, now let's go back to the article. We have a government that is literally fighting against itself. The federal workforce has always been more liberal than the population as a whole, but in recent years, things have gotten really bad. Prior to this year, Democrats had been in control of the White House for 12 of the past 16 years. Over time, leftists that were hired for key positions just kept hiring more leftists. That were hired for key positions just kept hiring more leftists. I read that twice. Underneath them, in fact, it got to the point to where DEI policies at various agencies essentially institutionalized the systematic hiring of leftists. In other words, it kind of became their God, which, by the way, was replacing the Christian God, Jesus. By the end of the Biden administration, leftist domination of most of the federal agencies were virtually complete, which, of course, the devil's goal. But now we have a new administration. I think this new administration is America's last chance to repent, to turn back to Jesus. Many of them have absolutely no intention of cooperating with the new administration, and some of them had started to openly rebel against it. He says a secretive movement known as #AltGov has become the epicenter of that rebellion. Those that are involved primarily communicate through anonymous social media accounts and an encrypted messaging app. Calling itself, this is from the actual app itself, calling itself AltGov, the network has developed a visible public-facing presence in recent weeks through blue sky accounts, most of which bear the names and initials of federal agencies, aimed at getting information out to the public and correcting the information, or in other words, going against the Trump administration, about the chaos being unleashed by the Trump administration. Within 40 accounts to date, with 40 accounts to date, their collective megaphone is getting louder, as most of the accounts have tens of thousands of followers, with Alt CDC, they or them, being the largest at nearly 95,000 followers. So, in case you think the devil doesn't have enough people to rise up and to overthrow the Trump organization, you would be sadly wrong. The network has also formed a group and a series of subgroups on Wire, the encrypted messaging app, to share information and develop strategies as played out on Saturday. Most people don't realize this, but the AltGov movement was very active during the first Trump administration. Of course, during the Biden administration, it went away because the leftists inside our federal agencies saw no need to rebel against Joe Biden. However, one member of the group that was dared to go public with her identity has explained what the purpose of AltGov, #AltGov, actually is. The network is aiming to expose harmful policies, Christian policies, that defend public institutions and equip citizens with tools to push back or to, what we would say is to overthrow the Trump administration, to push back against authoritarianism. Lynn Stahl, a contractor for the Department of Veterans Affairs and a member of the group, told The Guardian. Attorney General Pam Bondi instructed the FBI to deliver all documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein and to her office, and they were told her that they had done so. But now, it turns out that they had secretly withheld back thousands of these documents, and by the way, as I'm doing this, Pam Bondi is still trying to get those documents. In other words, the Southern District of the New York FBI won't, at least at last we've heard, won't release all of them. What? Hang on, there's more. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents, Bondi wrote. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages, and not just pages, more than that they had not released. FBI whistleblower Garrett O'Boyle has revealed that the operatives inside the FBI have been working feverishly to destroy sensitive files. In other words, the grinding machine, the shredding machine, probably, who knows, maybe they're even burning them, going crazy. People inside the FBI have been working night and day to destroy files on these servers. Now that Kash Patel has finally been confirmed, he is moving quickly to try to get the control of the agencies, but it appears that many FBI agents have no intention of obeying lawful orders. Now, what would happen if she were to say, if I don't have those in Pam Bondi's, if Kash Patel were to say this, if I don't have all those documents in in Pam Bondi's office Monday morning by 8 o'clock, the entire Southern District FBI office is fired and closed. You want to guess whether that actually show up? Sad to say, they might not. Let's go on. Already people are saying, we're not going to comply with that. O'Boyle told Johnson, we're already saying we're going to make it seem if we transferred, we call paper transfers, but we're not really going to do it. This is only a little bitty speck. This is happening many, many times, many, many places all day long, all across America under the scenes. If this sort of insubordination persists, more agencies may have to be almost entirely dismantled, just like USAID. Sadly, many workers that are fired at USAID and other federal agencies are now conducting wild protests. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. Here it is, my brothers and sisters. I've been carrying this message. I've been carrying it since I heard it in January of 1988. And here it is. Now, do you think I'm getting a lot of people clicking like, share, and subscribe? Not very many. Do you think very many people are sending this out to their friends saying, oh my goodness, this guy's right. This guy's right. He's been telling us this since 1988. No, not really. As a matter of fact, we're in a bit of a financial bind. Sadly, many workers that were fired are protesting. Dozens of the protesters crammed into the lobby of the office of Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, but they were eventually tossed out by security. Did the same thing to John Thune, tossed out by security. The Trump administration has now announced 120 IRS offices will be permanently shut down. My opinion, should never have started. Speaking of, I'm about to say something I hope I don't regret. I've never said this, but I've had it confirmed by a couple of sources. Would you believe the money to that organization up there, I'm not even going to say the name, the money that goes to that organization, that three-letter up there in the top left corner, does not go to the United States government. It goes to, should I say this? Costa Rica. And then it's split. Now, it's probably changed now, but it used to be split. Half of it went to the Queen of England, half of it went to the Vatican. So I have been told by two different reliable sources, and that was years ago. And these days, maybe it's even changed. But my point is, we've been getting ripped off. We can't even believe how bad America's been getting ripped off. Let's go on. The Trump administration is moving forward with plans to shut down more than 120 IRS offices that provide taxpayer assistance as part of a broader effort to reduce the federal government's footprint and cut costs. The decision, outlined in a letter from the U.S. General Services Administration obtained by the Washington Post, comes at a crucial time right in the middle of April 15th. The Trump administration directed federal agency heads Wednesday to turn in a plan for large-scale, here it is, headcount reductions by March 13th to purge government workers who are scamming our country. In other words, our country is falling apart. We're rotting from within. To make cuts to be bloated, corrupt federal government by methods including firing underperforming employees, closing unneeded regional offices, and not renewing contracts. Okay, I'm jumping in here because this comes to me to talk about. Okay, so I'm recording this 501-228-025. And Vladimir Zelensky just got kicked out of the White House. I watched the whole thing. And this, matter of fact, now they have already, they're moving to impeach, Ukraine is moving to impeach him. And I think that's exactly what needs to happen. They need to find another person that can make a deal. But we've got to continue to pray that whatever happens, that America does not make the Russian bear angry. That whatever happens with the Russia-Ukraine war, that it ends peacefully, and that America and Russia walk away having shook hands and become friends again. We don't need to worry about Zelensky. We don't need to worry about Ukraine. Neither one of those is going to destroy America. But Russia has the weapons that we can't stop from hitting us. Right now, this minute, if Russia wants to destroy America, it could do it. So militarily, Russia is our superior. Right now, we need to be really nice, be friends with the Russians. The memo comes after DOJ overseer Elon Musk threatened twice to fire government employees who didn't respond to an email asking for 5 things that they did last week. Most people can list 5 things they did every day. I could, you probably could too. Well, Trump just said that 1 million federal workers could potentially be on the bubble, in other words, about to be fired. Now, I'm about to make a big point. President Donald Trump warned that 1 million or more federal employees are now on the bubble because of their failure to respond to an email demanding that they justify their jobs. Okay. What about 1 million people that have already been laid off, and there's another 1 million that's about to be laid off? I don't know how many that is, but can our economy absorb 2 million people been laid off all at once? I don't think so. All right, then you throw in that we've got some 20 some odd million illegal immigrants in. They're also about to get their money cut off, and they're going to be looking for jobs, and they can't get jobs either. Okay, now, one of the things said that a bunch of IRS agents, 120 offices for the IRS could be closed, and the article said that this is mostly people that answer the phone helping people with the IRS forms they got to fill out. Okay, so a person been working for the IRS for a while, helping people fill out forms. They lose their job. Along at the time, 2 million other people just lost their job. Along at the time that 20 million illegal aliens just lost their financial support. Along with the fact that they're about to start cutting off a lot of welfare to a bunch of other people. What do you have? You have a bunch of people that are angry beyond words. They're ready to kill. They're really ready to burn down buildings. A lot of them got guns or can get guns in America. But it's not just guns. I mean, think about all of the damage that 2 million people, 22 million people, could do to this country if they all got mad at the same time. They all run out of food, all ran out of money at the same time. I just got a call from, I'll put it this way, someone very close. I know them well. They just got their car repossessed. I'd love to help, but I'm doing good to see that my car is not repossessed. See what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, I'm trying to warn you that if there's some preparations you need to make, asking Jesus into your heart being number one, then now's a good time to start making them. Be that gold or silver, 800, 200 gold. Be that Joseph Kitchen wheat. Be that food. I don't know. But if you need to make preparations, they're almost too late to make them. Let's go on. On top of everything else, yeah, there's more. That is going on. A potential government shutdown is looming in the middle of the next month. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh, yeah, no, this is important. Remember the date, March 14th. Democrats want to insert language into the funding bill to ensure that the administration, Trump, implements the spending directed by Congress. In other words, where he can't cut off this wasteful, fraudulent spending. But the Republicans have made it clear they're not going to accept those terms. Government funding expires on March 14th, and keeping the government open past the deadline, here it is, will require bipartisan support from both the House and the Senate. What does that mean? It means our government's going to shut down March 14th, unless Republicans control 53 seats in the Senate, but a funding measure requires 60 votes for passage. What's that saying? It's saying we're about to see the government shut down. Trump, this time, being he's in charge of most of the things, he's probably going to say, let it shut down. Remember, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Trump wants to shut down not just our finances, not just our government. He wants to shut it all down. He wants to crash all of it and then rebuild it. So here it is. You want to know when the crash is coming? On, about, around, or shortly, March 14th of this year. How do we need to pass that? You think we're going to get 60 Democrats or 60 votes that'll go along with it? That would mean we need to get, 7 Democrats vote? One thing about the Democrats, they stick together. Now, back to my point. This is the fall of America started with an internal revolution. This is what I think. I think that what we're about to see is the overthrow of the Trump administration. I don't think, but I could be wrong, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I hope it doesn't happen for 2 or 3 years. But what this is showing us is that we're now in progress. There's more. Liberals implode after Republican defends new food stamp work requirements. Get off the couch, stop eating the Cheetos. Remember, Dumitru told me it might be something like the government shuts off welfare. Well, la-di-da. Here it is. Here it is. We're talking about 22 to 25 million people are about to be thrown out of work. And who are they going to blame it on? They're going to blame it on one Donald Trump. Video of his comments were posted to social media, where many people on the left expressed their outrage. This man should be absolutely ashamed of himself. They're talking about Trump. He should have his salary and access to all money paused for 60 days and then reevaluate the cruelty and inhumanity of this statement. That guy gets paid 6 figures to talk, I won't say that, of course, to everyday Americans. He might want to chill the leeching off the taxpayer talk. Spoken like a veritable privileged white man whose bills are paid by taxpayer dollars, Talk about sucking the government. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is you can read it. There are a lot of people about to be really, really angry because what they're doing is coming out with a requirement that before you get welfare, you've got to do this and such. And maybe you got to apply for so many jobs. Maybe you got to find a job. I don't know. But again, they're about to cut off welfare. It says March 14th. So what does that mean? Well, if they cut it off, say March 14th, the government shuts down, no checks go out, everything will be okay for a week or two, there's just protests. But a month or two later, and you're talking about blood in the streets, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're seeing it. I believe you are. Now, let me back up. I covered this briefly, at least I intended to. I think I didn't get to here a week ago. Viral post calling for a repeat of a violent French Revolution inside the USA, February 19th. Now, it goes on to say leftist echo chamber Reddit is embracing the French Revolution in an attempt to resist President Donald Trump. This is another group of people calling for a bloody internal revolution. See, revolution is not just burning buildings. It's blood. Look at that picture. That's an accurate picture of an internal revolution where they cut people's heads off. Sound like the tribulation, doesn't it? Leftist echo chamber Reddit is embracing the French Revolution in an attempt to resist President Donald Trump. The platform, notorious for censorship of conservatives, is allowing posts calling for, here it is, violent political revolution here in America. It's not just one or two places, it's lots of places with lots and lots of thousands of people behind it. And we're only in the early phases. Give this thing 3 months, give it 6 months, and we're talking about blood in the streets. Specifically, they're saying it's time for a style of a French reign of terror to spread virally in the early weeks of the Trump administration. They want 1939 Germany, let's give them 1789 France. What happened in 1789? They killed the king and the queen. They cut their head off. That's what they're saying when they say they want 1939 Germany. In other words, they want to take over. What they're saying is Trump wants to take over. But instead, we're going to cut the head off. That's what they're really saying. Let's give them 1789 France is popping up all over the platform with 1789 France spiking in Google searches and on X Radar, a feature on X that lets users monitor keywords and track conversations. There's more. Leftists on Reddit are calling for a violent revolution. Read what it says. They want 1939 Germany, but let's give them 1789 France. In other words, Trump is wanting to take over. That's the way we would say it. But instead, let's cut his head off. That's what they're saying. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America. The reference to the French Revolution describes the time between 1789 and the late 1790s, when the French citizens radically altered their political landscape, uprooting centuries of old institutions such as the monarchy. In other words, they killed the king and queen. They cut their head off. The upheaval was caused by disgust with the French aristocracy and economic policies of the king. And why was his head cut off? Because they had financial problems. Financial problems. See, the king and queen didn't have control of the finances. Donald Trump doesn't have control of the finances. Who has control and who had control? It's the Molochs, the people above president. Those are the ones in charge. Today, we call it the Federal Reserve. Look, here's another one. Reddit mods are the worst. They want 1939 Germany. Look, there's a lot of places on the internet these days. The French Revolution notably concluded the ascent of Napoleon Bonaparte, who seized power in November 1799. So, let me read one more thing. No, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I think. Okay, so Trump's taking over. About a lot of people about to be thrown out of work by his command. Excuse me. And massive arrests are soon to start. It's not going to be civil arrests by police officers in civil courts. It's going to be military arresting them, taken to military tribunals where they get hard, swift justice. Many, at least some, will probably be executed. That's just a guess. I don't know that for sure. Just a guess. Matter of fact, a lot of what I'm saying is scuttlebutt, but a lot of it's not either. A lot of it's backed up by a lot of things I won't get into. But anyway, okay, so Trump takes over. Trump is cleaning the house, and he starts, how do we say this? Destroying the evil. Then Trump and his administration is taken over. What do you think the devil and his people are going to do to the Christians? Same thing, only worse. Okay, so here's Hal Turner's analysis. I'm about out of time. This movement on the social media is spreading, no less than Democrat Congressman Ed Markey from the Massachusetts Ultimate News, when he picked up a bullhorn over this past weekend and declared the revolution against Donald Trump and Elon Musk begins here, and I'm going to show you some videos, what I'm talking about.
Make them show a warrant. Make them show a document. Make them assert their authority. Ask them, who are you? Who are you? Because at the end of the day, they're no one.
That's right.
They're just like you, and they're just like me. And he's running around because he thinks he's got a bank account with a lot of zeros in it, that it makes him some kind of super citizen. I don't think so. This is America.
Donald Trump has waged a scorched earth campaign against the rule of law. And for one simple reason: to give his billionaire buddies a tax break and have the American people pay the cost. Yesterday, Senate Republicans voted to proceed on their budget resolution. But this morning, you saw that President Trump flipped the script again, further sowing chaos. Senate Democrats will expose Republicans' reconciliation budget bill exactly for what it is: a sinister front for clearing the way to cut taxes for Donald Trump's billionaire buddies. Democrats are glad to have this debate with the Republicans. We'll show the hollowness of the Republican arguments on cutting waste. We'll expose Republican attempts to cut health care so they can help their billionaire buddies. We'll expose their attempts to cut Medicaid, cut housing, cut NIH. Now they're going to try to change the subject. Sure, Donald Trump's trying to divert. Gulf of America, build hotels in Gaza, annexing Canada. These are distractions that they do to hide the truth, because they know how unpopular their tax policy is.
Are we going to shut down the illegal Elon Musk takeover of the government? You bet we are. We're going to fight this in the courts. We're going to fight this in the Congress, and there can be no business as usual in the Congress. And we're going to fight this in gatherings like this all over the country, because we need to shut down this illegal operation.